are trying to be inclusive. When you talk about building a wall, when you talk about deporting, like right now, we're spending all our time talking about storm. We never talk about them. Talk about economic opportunity. There's only economic opportunity if you're rich. One of the reasons that you are so popular, beloved, is you don't edit yourself. I do not. On television is to be honest, because there's somebody in Montana, South Dakota, L.A., Maine, Rhode Island. They're supposed to believe what I say, and I take great pride in that. The reason I ask you this is he speaks his mind. He's authentic. You think that is part of his appeal? I think that's some of his appeal, but I think nobody ever wants to look in the mirror and say it's my fault. I think he reached a demographic that won't look in the mirror and says my life sucks because of me. Then he came right after President Obama, and there were some people who are like, wow, we got a black president. They're not happy with that. And I think it was, and listen, I never talk bad about the president. I'm going to be factual. I've never been more angry and disgusted at this situation than I am now. This turmoil every single day, the tweeting, the hiring and firing, like, dude, I'm blessed. It really ain't gonna have a big effect on our life. But I actually have humanity. I want everybody to have a good job. I want their kids to go to school. I want their kids to be safe. I want everybody to have economic opportunity. And I want to make sure we don't forget about DACA, our public schools. I don't want to forget about those poor people in Puerto Rico either. Mm-hmm. You know, I was watching the news last night that they got, but I'm pretty sure in every election, state, local, national, somebody can get some dirt on somebody if they wanted to. Sure they did, but it was just wasting. It's definitely now we got Storm. Now we got another girl, and I'm sitting here saying, when are we actually gonna help?
Coming up next on the Axe Files.
Everybody in my life has voted Democrat, and now we're starting like, well, really help them.
Is it possible to save someone's life from thousands of miles away? Yes. Thanks to the dedicated missions of the American Red Cross, who worked with VMware to develop technologies to help redirect the flow of blood to the areas and people needing it most, helping them recover and refilling everyone with life-affirming hope. Magic can't make digital transformation happen, but we can. That's the power of VMware, part of Dell Technologies.
At Holiday Inn Express, we can't guarantee that you'll be able to contain yourself at our breakfast bar.
Want an egg white omelet? Sup, Lady Bacon?
Fruit?
There it is.
But we can guarantee that you'll get the best price when you book with us. Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
At just $24.99, Ruby Tuesday's new dinner for two is bringing everyone together. Endless trips to the garden bar.
Wicked garden bar.
Choose 2 of 7 entrees.
Thanks.
Can I just eat? And a dessert to share.
Hello!
Dinner for 2 at Ruby Tuesday.
My hands on myself. Because of the mall, put a mask up on the shelf. Just a little baby girl is in me. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just to kick her. I can feel it since I can take it sick. Now they had your still, feel it still.
What does life look like during your period? It's up to you. With Tampax Pearl, you get ultimate protection on your heaviest days and smooth removal for your lightest. Tampax Pearl and Pearl Active for up to 100% leak-free workouts.
You said you're not like me. You never got to
Geico rates for great rides.
Hi, I'm the one clocking in when you're clocking out, sensing and automatically adjusting to your every move. Does your bed do that? I'm the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. Let's meet at a Sleep Number store.
Sandals. At last, an all-inclusive that truly includes it all. Sandals, the world's only 5-star luxury included resort. Save up 1-800-SANDALS.
Tired of constantly battling lingering, lasting, continuous freshness? Try Febreze Plug. Febreze Plug provides 45 days of freshness with a unique dual chamber design that alternates between harmonized scents for continuous renewal of fragrance. Plus, Febreze Plug is formulated with odor clear technology, which cleans away odors instead of just masking them. For freshness you'll notice week after week, try Febreze Plug.
Closed captioning brought to you by OnlyMeso.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
You've done a series of shows on race, and you travel around the country talking to people about race, and you hear things are worse than they were before.
No, that's not.
Then I think about your Alabama and what was going on. And, and I wonder if you've,
first of all, anybody who said race relations aren't better, that's just idiotic. Racism does exist, always has, and unfortunately always will. But for people to say things aren't better, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I can actually go in any restaurant I want to. I can go to the same bathroom and drink out of the same water fountain. That's stuff. But what I talk about is economic racism. When you don't get economic opportunity. And I actually think that we spend too much time talking about race. America's divided by economics. Racism does exist. I'm not giving anybody a pass on that. But what America has become, rich people and poor people. We put all the poor people in bad neighborhoods. We send them to bad schools. We don't give them economic opportunity. We spend so much time talking about racism. We old people say, like, wait a minute. Somebody calling me a name and things like that, that's just ignorant. I ignore that. But how do we balance the economic situation? That, to me, is the biggest problem we got in this country right now.
One of the things that I remember from that series was you went to Baltimore.
Yes.
Where the issue of policing is really...
Yeah, David, I was bothered by that because some people in the black community say I support the cops. And I said, you damn right I support the cops. I'm always support the cops. That does not mean I want unarmed black men killed or police doing anything illegal. Two things can be correct. First of all, if it wasn't for the cops, we would be living in the wild, wild west. But some of my critics have had to try to say, just because I support the cops, I'm for unarmed black men getting killed and things like that. And that's really unfair. That's just really unfair. And I can deal with the criticism. Like I say, I'm always support the cops because we need them. That being said, I don't ever want any unarmed black men getting killed or abused or anything like that.
There was this horrific massacre in Florida that sort of captivated the country. I come from Chicago. There are communities that are killing fields every, your grandmother being Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
You got famously pulled aside once and you had a gun in your car.
I'm always carrying my gun.
You're not armed now, are you?
No, not right now.
I might have to edit some of my questions.
No, I believe in carrying a gun. I do, and I'm never going to apologize for that. That being said, when it comes to guns, they should do a comprehensive background check on everybody. I can't even believe we're having this conversation. Like, if I walk into a Mercedes dealership and say, give me that Mercedes, they would say, okay, go ahead and take it. We'll worry about your credit later. They would do a background check and see if I can afford it. We should be able to buy guns, but we can click a button and find out every single thing you've done in your life, but they don't even do that, and that's ridiculous. They should be able to find out everything you ever did in any state, any country. That's the least we could do.
What about these semi-automatic weapons?
Well, nobody needs that. There's no need for anybody to have a semi-automatic weapon. Zero. They're just to kill people.
So most of America agrees on the things that you're saying. Certainly the background checks, majority on the never changes. Why?
Well, because, you know, these last couple of presidential elections, it cost $1 billion for a job that pays $400,000. It's so much money involved in this stuff. It's crazy. But there's so much money coming from all these special interest groups. Politics are so corrupt now. I don't even know if you can put the toothpaste back in the tube, but the NRA is so powerful.
You got involved in the Alabama Senate race.
Yes.
Between Doug Jones and Roy Moore. Why'd you decide to go down and get involved in that?
I was embarrassed for my state. You know, David, when I went down there, every news organization in the country was there. And why were they there? To see if we were stupid enough to vote for Roy Moore. They don't care about no Alabama Senate election. They were there to see the train wreck. And as a proud Alabamian and embarrassed that we were looking to the world. Man, I don't know Roy Moore. I'm not a Roy Moore fan. But I was just embarrassed that my state was looking like idiots around the country. When he brought in Steve Bannon, to me, that was the last straw.
Why is that?
Because he's a white separatist. We can't have a politician running for office that we know is a white separatist. We can't have that. He brings in Steve Bannon. And I'm like, wait, you can't bring in a white separatist and run for a state office. You're supposed to represent everybody.
I remember on election night, you said that Democrats had taken black voters for granted.
Forever.
You're Democrats, and I told Mr. Jones this, and I love Doug. They've taken the black vote and the poor vote for granted for a long time.
I voted Democrat for 55 straight years. And first of all, I want to make clear, I don't think the Republicans are better. But I think we as black people have not held Democrats accountable for taking our votes for all these years. I look at my hometown, I don't think, other than the fact that I was able to dunk a basketball, I don't see a lot of change in my neighborhood or my state. I have an issue with both parties, but I think speaking as a Democrat, we have not held the Democrats accountable. Like I said, everybody in my life has voted Democrat our entire life. And now we're starting like, well, how much has it really helped us? Like I say, we know the Republicans aren't better. Let's get that out the way. But if you're going to have us vote for you, we got to start holding them accountable. Our neighborhoods are not better. Our schools are not better. Crime is not better. So we got to start holding these politicians accountable.
While that race was going on in Alabama, Trump launched this attack on Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. I think what Colin Kaepernick did was amazing. Now, he's going to pay. He's blackballed. He's probably never going to play in the NFL again. The president hijacked the entire conversation.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired?
I don't think Colin had any disrespect for the flag. It's a really awful situation.
You know, he was raising the issue you were speaking about before, which is about police abuse of power.
Yes. And the president hijacked the entire scenario. See, he did that in Alabama because he knew that was his red meat. You know, he plays his audience very well.
Ahead.
on the Axe Files.
I hear these guys get on TV and talk about, well, we got to pay these players. I said, okay, how are you going to do it?
For more of this conversation and others, go to cnn.com/AxeFiles.
What is happening in our politics today?
Subscribe now to the Axe Files podcast with your favorite app.
They grow up to be right. They grow up to be true. They always know the truth. See the light surrounding you.
Long live devotion. And long live the trucks that are always right there with you. Now get an average $9,609 in total values on the 2018 Ram 3500 Limited Crew Cab with a Cummins diesel engine.
It's 99-cent kids' nights at Golden Corral. Now kids eat and drink for just 99 cents, under a buck. Woo! It's prime time for family time. Come on now. Golden Corral. Your choice. Rules.
These birds, once affected by oil, are heading back home thanks to Dawn. Rescue workers only trust Dawn because it's tough on grease yet gentle.
I am home. I am home. I am home.
Time to bask in low prices. TripAdvisor compares prices from over 200 booking sites to find the right hotel for you at the lowest price. Refreshing, isn't it? TripAdvisor.
Mine's way better.
This one's below market price and has Bluetooth. Same here, but this one has leather seats.
Use the Cars.com app to compare price, features, and value.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable after just 4 months, with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use it if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomit if these occur. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Other side effects include upper respiratory tract infection and headache. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
From customizable plans to convenient delivery, HelloFresh delivers the food you crave, when and where you want it. Use code TV30 to save $30 off your first box. HelloFresh, get cooking.
After centuries of unchecked power,
The Catholic Church has become profoundly corrupt.
one man's crusade
Martin Luther thought it was all a sham.
will divide the church forever. Pope tomorrow at 10 on CNN.
With so many mattresses out there, how do you know which one is really the best? Just look at how the Purple Smart Comfort Grid, made from a super comfy yet ultra supportive material called hyperelastic polymer, cradled those unfertilized chickies. Purple's unique design cradles your pressure points and redistributes support to the rest of your body for maximum comfort and support. Get the best rest of your life on our super sciencey, crazy comfy Purple mattress.
Introducing Pulse Heartbeat, 7 days a week. Check us out at Pulse.com. Pulse, for the ups and downs of digital life. Introducing Pulse. New TV to install? We do that. It couldn't be easier. We'll be there in a heartbeat, 7 days a week. Check us out at Pulse.com. Pulse, for the ups and downs of digital life.
CNN special report, the case against Cosby, tonight at 8.
You've talked before about athletes not being role models.
I am not a role model. I'm paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court. Parents should be role models.
Should athletes be political models? I mean,
well, I think it's up to each individual. First of all, the role model thing, because it's sparked a nationwide debate. And what I was trying to do was get a conversation going. Because, David, I noticed something. Every black kid was thinking they're going to play pro sports. And it was driving me crazy because we still have segregated schools in this country. So I'm visiting all these schools, and I noticed this terrible trend. So I'm going to this white school, and I says, hey, well, what do you guys want to do? I said, well, how many of you guys want to play pro sports? It was only like 5 to 7% raised their hand. Like, what do you want to do? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an engineer. I'm like, so then I go to a black school. I said, well, how many of y'all want to play sports? They're like, me. Like 95% of them. So then the group I got with me, it's like, dude, it's the same at every school. And that's when I went to Nike. I said, hey, this is going to be controversial, but I want to do it. I said, I can take the heat, but it will start a dialogue. And even to this day, I have people come up to me and say, hey, great commercial. Even today.
I remember I was with you at the dedication of the Bill Russell statue. And I know he's sort of a mentor of yours.
Bill Russell called me one time. And you know Bill, I don't even call him Bill. I call him Mr. Russell. Everybody does. He says to me, he called me one day. He says, and I saw his number come up. He says, Charles Barkley? I said, yes, sir, Mr. Russell. He said, hey, you grew up in Alabama, right? I said, yes, sir. He says, did you go to public school? I said, yes, sir. He says, did the cops ever come to your neighborhood? I said, yes, sir. He said, okay. He said, did any houses ever catch on fire and the firemen come? He says, I said, yes, sir. He says, well, I don't want to see your black ass on TV complaining about your taxes anymore. And I said, what do you mean? He says, so now you got money, you don't want to help other people out, but when you were poor, other people took care of you. And I said, you know what, Mr. Russell? You will never hear me complain about my taxes again. And it was a very interesting lesson for me because I do think rich people should pay more taxes. I'm blessed to be one of them, and we should pay more in taxes. But I learned my lesson. I never complain about taxes.
The thing that was interesting about that was, he was resistant to having a statue in Boston, in part because he dealt with racism there. When he finally agreed to have a statue built, he asked that it put outside the public library, not the arena. And when you spoke there, you talked about education, not about basketball. And you said you never talked to him about basketball. Is education the civil rights issue of our time?
Education, the problem is with black kids, they have brainwashed our kids to think they can only be great in athletics and entertainment. And 99.9% of people have to go out and get a real job. I never talk to these kids about athletics. But like I say, they're not going to be Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Bill Russell. I said, first of all, if you are, bless you. But the truth of the matter is most people in the world have to go out and get an education. And that goes on something else I talk about a lot. The college system is not 100% great. But you know what? It's great to get a free education. Is everything perfect? I hear these guys get on TV and talk about, well, we got to pay these players. I said, okay, how are you going to do it? Are you paying the basketball team? Are you paying the football team? Are you playing the swimming team? Are you playing the diving team? Are you paying the girls' teams? It's not that simple. I don't want to hear anybody ever tell young black kids getting a free education is not a great thing.
You start talking about the NCAA and should players be paid and so on. There is this sense that at a lot of schools, these kids are tremendous assets to the school. They make a lot of money. But the question is, how much do the schools invest in them as students? And you saw the thing in the years ago where they were creating courses and so on. So it is a great opportunity for these young kids to get scholarships. But if the schools treat them as professional athletes rather than as students, and most of them aren't going to be in the NBA, as you say, isn't the NCAA letting them down?
The NCAA has not done a great job. Going back to my time, they have not done, because a lot of times they just give you class to keep you eligible. So that's got to be fixed. But like I say, the notion that you can get a free education, that's a big deal. Everybody say, well, we should pay these kids, but they don't give you a solid plan. Because you can't just pay the basketball and the football team. You're going to have to pay everybody. And another question is, and people say, well, won't you let a guy sell his likeness? I says, well, that's great if you're the quarterback or the running back. Nobody's buying a big, ugly defensive lineman and offensive lineman's jersey. And let me tell you something. If I'm in the locker room and I'm Charles Barkley and I look at the stands and there's 10,000 Charles Barkley jerseys, and I'm making an extra $500,000 a year. And I'm looking around the locker room. These guys look at me like, oh, you the only one working out here? Yeah. It's going to bring a ton of resentment from the other players. Like if I'm the offensive lineman and I'm opening holes for the running back and blocking for the quarterback, and they're making an extra meal a year with their jerseys, and I'm not getting a dime, I'm not going to be happy with that.
Yeah. You're such a champion of education, and a lot of these kids, as you say, they're not going anywhere.
99% of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they don't take that seriously, doesn't take it seriously for them.
The school, we got to start making the schools pay for not graduating players. When I first started doing March Madness, that was the number one thing I said, because I was happy just doing the NBA. And they said, will you do March Madness? I said, no, I'm not that big of a deal if I don't do it. They're like, we want you to do it. And it turned into a blessing. It's been amazing. But I said, this is what I want in return. I need you to start graduating more of these players. And I think they're getting better. They're not where I want them to be. Any player who doesn't make it, who wants to graduate, they should keep them on scholarship as long as possible.
Up next on the Axe Files.
You know, that's one of the great sorrows of my life, that we're not friends.
Nothing compares to the joy a child brings to our lives. But as a father, I can't imagine the enormous pain that I would feel if I learned that one of my children has been diagnosed with cancer.
I was terrified, thinking in my mind, this has to be a mistake. This can't be happening.
It hits pretty hard.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital works every day to save the lives of children with cancer and other life-threatening diseases.
The nurses and doctors treat you like you're the only patient. St. Jude is important because without them, I'm thinking we wouldn't be here.
St. Jude has given us so much hope. She's on the road to being cancer-free.
How many are you going to have?
Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for anything. Treatment, travel, housing, or food. Because all a family should worry about is helping their child live.
They share their research, so it's saving children around the world.
Please, call or go online right now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope for only a month.
They gave us hope in probably the darkest time of our lives.
St. Jude saved Azalea's life. I'm just so grateful.
Join with your credit or debit card right now, and we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt you can proudly wear to show your support. St. Jude won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
St. Jude has given me my child. They've given me my child's life.
Thank you for saving children's lives.
Please call or go online right now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope.
Dogs are being held on a miserable island. Somebody is up to something. Mayor Kobayashi, you and your dog-hating criminal underlings have turned the country against this innocent house pet.
Nobody's giving up around here. Indestructible Alpha.
How'd you do that? Secret juice, military issues. Technically, I could do it 37 more times, but I won't be able to chew my meat.
American Dynasties, The Kennedys, tomorrow at 9 on CNN.
Wow! Lose fat in just a few hours.
I don't know what to say. I'm just in shock.
You can with Sono Bello.
It seems no matter how much you work out or diet, there are parts of your body that just don't seem to change.
I went to the gym, I worked out at home, I bought videos. No matter what I did, that bulge was still there.
With its advanced technology,
Sono Bello gently removes that targeted fat and shapes your body for life-changing results.
As America's #1 casualty, Sono Bello has performed over 100,000 personalized body and facial procedures, helping tens of thousands of people change their lives.
After 5 years trying to get rid of that roll of fat, Sono Bello did it in one day.
Call for your free no-obligation consultation today and get $250 off your Sono Bello body.
Payment plans are available.
Call 888-470